You asked for more video theories. You got 'em. At Mr. Yang Gael. You heard me. Hey, would you look at that? I had a conversation with one of the cast members from 1899. I'm kind of a big deal. Hello and welcome back to the Culture Cave. I'm here to talk about 1899 again and I cannot wait. So I'm not going to waste any time. Make sure you subscribe to catch all of our 1899 content when it gets released. Conrad's going to be going through one at a time, just like he did for Dark, and he's not going to know a thing, and he's going to theorize, and it's going to be amazing. So just like the good old days of the After Dark podcast, we're going to be doing that. Catch our Back to the Future and Terminator videos, we're really proud of them. As well as that, all my theories, past and future, there will be more for 1899. Right, let's get into it. The trailer begins with a top-down shot of what I assume is the Kerberos in full flight. Following this, we get who I predict is Virginia, played by Rosalie Craig, dinging a crystal cup to gain the attention of the room. I assume there's no trailer trickery going on here, and that this is indeed done to gain the people's attention just before the meeting which is shown next. The meeting itself is something which we've seen before in previous trailers, and in a previous video I talked about a theory about the mural behind the characters, based off matching it to a statue. But there's some more dialogue to go along with the scene now. Eek Larson, the captain of the ship, says, 6 hours ago we received a message. We are then shown what looks to be Morse code. I don't know any Morse code, and after a quick Google, I'm still none the wiser. I think it may be coordinates or something like that. Didn't seem to make a word. If you know Morse code, why not comment below and let me know what you think it says? Because it baffled me. The same way it seems to have baffled Eek Larson in the next shot. Although he does tell us that he believes it's a message that's come from the Prometheus, which is noteworthy because it's been missing for months, which we can see in the newspaper being read by Moira Franklin. But we've seen that before. Speaking of Moira Franklin, she seems to be disturbed by the message in this shot, as does this mustachioed man with the middle parting. The Colonel, however, unfazed. We are then shown Moira asking Eek if he thinks the passengers are still alive. He doesn't answer. Lucien, played by Jonas Blomqvist, is shown lighting up a cigarette. Indoors, no less. No indoor smoking bans in those days. Disgusting. Then, who I assume is his wife, Clemens, says, "It sank," almost certainly referring to the Prometheus, and she says it with a slight smile. Sociopath confirmed. She follows up by saying that it's the only explanation. Otherwise, they would have found it. So maybe she's just smiling because she loves a mystery. Sociopath unconfirmed. This dialogue is set over the ship going through what a pirate might call choppy seas. Or not. We get the Danish preacher Alexander Wilhelm preaching. Sorry to the character if he's a good guy, but I can't help but think he's evil, based solely on his character from Equinox. Catch my review on the channel. Tova looks forlorn. Perhaps it's due to the child that dies or gets injured that we've seen in previous trailers. A voiceover says that they are changing course. We see the lower deck workers shoveling coal into the fires. This foreshadows a future uprising from the lower decks, potentially over the decision to change course and look for the Prometheus. Moira Franklin contemplates life whilst looking out to sea. She seems to be quite a troubled woman. Next, can we all just take a moment to appreciate the way Miguel Bernardo says the word captain? Capitan. Based on this pronunciation alone, I can categorically say he's going to make a brilliant Zorro. Anyway, he makes the point to the captain that they paid good money for the trip to New York. It should take 7 days and there should be no detour. This shows the growing tension on board. As I've mentioned in multiple videos, I think the show will be influenced by the civil unrest caused by Brexit. I mean, it isn't that much of a stretch. The actor Emily Beecham has said so much in an interview before. The shot of the flare going up from the Kerberos that we've seen before is followed by a small boat carrying a boarding party to check out the Prometheus. From this shot and a few others, I believe the party includes Moira Franklin, Eek Larson, Miguel Bernardo, his pale suit right there, and Jose Pimentel, and maybe one more. I think this one will be a very scary scene when they're going on board the Prometheus to have a look around, and I think this might be one of the key differences between it and Dark, because Dark wasn't very horror inspired, but this seems like it will be, and I'm not one who likes scary things, but at the same time, for these writers, I'll watch anything. After that, a very wet Welsh man, character named Daniel, climbs up onto the Kerberos. At least I assume it's the Kerberos based on the Dark ship in the background, which must be the Prometheus, unless the Kerberos has already met the same fate. Is he an outsider boarding the ship for the first time? Was he a passenger on the Prometheus? Could he be from somewhere else? This is directly followed by the black stone pyramid that we've seen before, being taken out of a brown cloth, and I suppose the way it's ordered, it implies that Daniel is holding it. I, however, don't believe that this is Daniel holding it. I think this is actually the character played by Anton Lesser, who was the narration for most of the previous trailer. I feel he's going to fill the Tannhaus, Adam, Eva role in the first season. I think he's going to be a narrator and a beacon of knowledge. I think his character will have disciples, and I believe Daniel will be one of them. I also think the boy we see in the trailer, we now know from IMDb, is called Elliot. I believe he's going to be one of the disciples as well. And when you look at the names, Daniel means God is my judge, and Elliot means Lord is my God. Perhaps these characters are brothers. They could potentially be the children of Nyx, the Greek god, who T.D. Siago on Reddit identified as the other structure in the dining room mural. Could one be Hypnos, the god of sleep? Makes sense based on all the people falling unconscious. Could one be Thanatos, the god of death? Or Erebus, the god of darkness? I think that Mora might be related to them because we have heard that she's looking for someone, potentially her brother. For the rest of the trailer, Jimi Hendrix All Along the Watchtower plays over. Now I could painstakingly go through the lyrics and pick this apart because we know that the songs from Dark meant a lot. At the same time, this is already going to be a very long video and I've got work tomorrow, so maybe in a future video I'll touch on that. There's more praying from the preacher. Pay attention to this ginger-bearded man praying. He'll come back later. Then lights start flickering as if the preacher did it. Spoiler, he didn't. Ling Yi then walks through the fog and clicks some triangle buttons. The art director bloody loves triangles in this show. Check out my previous videos for some triangle theories. By the way, it's not lost on me that Ling Yi translates to deity, monster, strange, mysterious, supernatural. And then when she appears in the trailer, the preacher says over the top, "Protect us from evil." Is she going to be a monster? Or will she be painted as one by the other passengers, in a similar way to Brexiteers painting immigrants and refugees as monsters? The same Morse code machine as before is now spitting out triangles? I couldn't do the normal Morse code, so I'm not going to even try here. The preacher also asked to be protected from the falseness of the world while this is on the screen. Are they going to start denying that these messages exist? Are they going to call them fake news or perhaps alternative facts? Some navigation takes place. The compass seems to be going mad. Perhaps electromagnetism plays a part. That would explain some of the sound effects we've heard in previous trailers. Eek then says, "None of this makes any sense," whilst watching the compass or whatever that is spinning. I assume that's what we're all going to be saying on November 17th, and I can't wait. The captain looks over at the Prometheus with Mora, the guy who seems to lead the rebellion, and some other officers. Ling Yi does some spying, seemingly from inside a closet. Perhaps she's witnessing Lucien getting attacked. Some characters again look overboard. We've seen this particular shot many times in trailers so far. My mate, Yang Gael, looks perplexed by some black shards growing out of the roof, with the voiceover saying, "There is something wrong with this ship." You don't say. Obviously, anything I say about this stuff coming out of the roof is going to be pure speculation, but I might touch upon it in a future theory video, so hit subscribe so you don't miss it. It's going to be based on alchemy. It implies Daniel's looking through a door to see Elliot. I think this is Mora bringing the captain in to try and extract information from him, and judging by a shot later in the trailer, it does seem that Elliot might know something that they want to know. Tova looks really pregnant. Notably, all of the other beds are empty. Also, the voice says that the same thing is happening here. Is this implying that people have started to disappear, or in a similar way to the Prometheus, go unconscious? Are they all hypnotized, just standing out on the deck of the ship? The person who said the same thing is happening here is actually the apparent leader of the rebellion, seemingly pleading for something to be done, or perhaps to leave and return to the journey to New York. He then rings a bell to alert the fact that people are going unconscious. Lucien seems to have a tremor in his hand. This could explain the stance in the original cast photo released. And to think, I theorized that he might be having an affair with Miguel Bernardo. Simpler times. Judging by his expression, this condition may be what he's hiding, as we have been told that every character has a secret. Someone then says off camera, "We need to take back control," which is the most Brexit thing I've heard in a while. This is followed by Tova loading a gun, watch this space for a crazy theory, and the crew walking down the corridor on the way to the fight. Eek opens a door quickly, looking distressed. There's a frantic change of direction. There's the ginger-bearded guy. Actually, now that I see him again, he isn't the same guy as before. Just keeping you on your toes. Anyway, then this guy does his best Hamilton impression.
"We are a powder keg about to explode."
Emily Beecham does some acting. The mutiny, uprising, whatever this is in full flow. The Danish family burst into a room, Tova with a gun. Again, just wait for the theory. The voiceover says, "We all wear masks." And who I think is Miguel Bernardo touches Cresta's scar. We then get lots of quick shots of their masks. Mora is previously in a mental institution and someone who I predict is hiding her identity. Eek, who hides his troubled past involving his house burning down, potentially his family in it. Clemens, who I predict is a victim of domestic abuse from Lucien. Jerome, played by my mate, young Gael. I'm not sure what his mask could be. And Jose Pimentel. I don't know, maybe he's not really a priest. Voiceover then says, while we tried to hide who we are, Tova is running through the woods while this is happening. We get a triangle tattoo on Elliot. We get a shot of the triangle symbol on a wooden box from the first teaser. We also get Ling Yi's kimono with the triangle symbol on it. And we get Elliot placing a blackstone pyramid out from under a table or a bed. We know it's him, based on my previous video where I explained the blood stain or whatever that is on his cuff. Then Elliot grabs Moira's hand, telling her to be quiet. Could she know a secret of this mysterious child that he doesn't want to be told? Then a voiceover, who I assume is Anton Lesser, says, you're not asking all the right questions. I find this character really interesting. Is he going to be on board, or are they going to find him somewhere? Who isn't asking all the right questions? Very intriguing, this. The same voice says, you have to wake up. I think the trailer's trying to make us believe that this is a reference to everyone falling asleep, but I actually think it refers to someone needing to realize a truth. Or, as he has said in a previous trailer, shift their perspective. Daniel then produces a fantastic little prop that looks like one of those puzzle games you used to play as a kid. I'm going to go out on a limb and I say this is either a communication device or a remote control for something, perhaps for reality itself. It does show the machine from the last trailer when he pulls down a button. Maybe there's a connection, or maybe that's just what they want us to think. A random man stands up. Nothing to see here. Jerome says, what's that sound? Then everyone files out of the dining room onto the deck, seemingly hypnotized. A character says, you have no idea what you've done, over a shot of Clemence. Could this be her being abused by her husband? I don't think it sounds French, so probably not. Let me know in the comments what you think. Then there's a load of little quick shots. Jerome is tied up in what looks like someone's bedroom. What's he done? Moira is shown in the mental institution again. She says, I know what I seen, I'm not crazy. This brings me back to an old theory of mine, that I said she's going to know in some way what she's getting herself into. Or perhaps this is after they arrive in New York and she's like the only survivor or something. Tova is shown beating someone with a rock. These writers love people getting beat with rocks. It is effective. This is followed by a shot of Lucien dead or unconscious on the floor with Ling Yi over the top of him. Here's my crazy theory. I think Tova might kill him as she sees what's happening between him and Clemence. Perhaps Tova was a victim of abuse before and she killed them with a rock, and now they're escaping to America. Then she sees this other woman going through similar and she saves, in inverted commas, her. That, or she could just want to go and kill who's responsible for the death of her sister or whoever that little girl was. One thing I will say though is I don't think Tova is getting involved in this rebellion thing. I think her having the gun is actually something different. Something's burning. I assume this is in Eek's house. Having said that, I actually don't know what it is. I can't make it out. Ling Yi is breaking the #1 rule of ship travel. Don't stand on the edge of the rail in a storm. I mean, this is safety 101. Ling Yi then gets a hug. Maybe this is her mom or sister or handler, whoever that was in the cast photo. Maybe she needs comfort for that. I mean, we haven't seen that character in any of the trailers, so maybe she's just dead. There's the ginger beady guy. With a gun, no less. Seems like there might be a sinking ship here. Oh my god, this is going to give me flashbacks to Titanic, my worst nightmare. Eek yells at the kid, like I said before. He yells, what's wrong with that ship? They obviously think the kid knows. I think this confirms that he was on the Prometheus, which I thought in previous videos. In what is the main showstopper of the trailer, Ling Yi is looking into what I assume is the eye of the whirlpool we saw in the last trailer. Although the way it's composed, it looks like the ship is falling up into the sky. Really beautiful shot. I can't wait to see what it means. Then we take a trip down some unconscious triangle eyes, and there. That's the trailer. Let me know what you thought of it. Me? I don't think I could be more excited. Keep an eye out for theories from me. Our Terminator 3 video is coming out very soon, and the breakdown of each episode with me and Conrad when the show finally comes out. Conrad will again be going through one episode at a time, having never seen it before, and I can't wait for the theories. See you next time.